We all have stories, right? Journeys that have shaped who we are. But how do you take a memory that's so crystal clear in your own head and make someone else feel it? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how to do that, how to turn any personal experience into a story that really sticks with people.
Okay, so think about this question for a second. Describe a journey that taught you something important. It's a classic, right? What's the first thing that pops into your head? Go on, just hold that memory. Because by the end of our time here, you're going to have a whole new toolkit to tell that story in a way that truly connects.
So often, our first attempt at telling a story sounds a little like this before example. It's true, it's factual, but it doesn't really land, does it? Our mission today is to figure out how to transform this simple statement into a compelling story that makes people lean in and listen.
All right, first things first. Before you can share what you learned, you've got to make your audience feel like they were right there with you. And the way we do that is by painting a picture with our words, using sensory details to bring the whole scene to life.
Now, using sensory detail isn't just about sounding fancy. It's like a direct line into your listener's brain. Seriously, when you describe the smell of pine or the feeling of cold air, you're literally activating the parts of their brain that would fire if they were actually there. The trick is to be specific, not just, it was cold, but something like, the air was so crisp it stung my cheeks. You're pulling them right out of their world and dropping them straight into yours.
And boom, just look at the difference. We went from a totally forgettable sentence to a scene you can almost feel. Can you smell that pine? Can you picture that quiet blanket of green? That's the power of sensory language. We've just created a real place, a solid foundation for our story.
But here's the thing. A beautiful scene is just a pretty picture, kind of like a postcard, without the most important part, the human element. What was actually going on inside of you? This is where we get to the real heart of the journey. This is the secret sauce. This is what makes your story truly connect with someone. Sharing what you saw is great, but sharing what you felt, that builds empathy. The emotion is the hook, and the realization, that little aha moment, that's the takeaway. That's the whole reason you're even telling the story in the first place.
So now we're adding the next layer. We kept those great sensory details, but we added feelings, like a wave of peace washed over me. And there it is, the realization. I realized my daily worries were just as small. See how that works? The external scene now has an internal meaning. It's not just about a trip anymore. It's about a moment of genuine insight.
So we've got a vivid scene and a powerful emotion. Awesome. Now we just need a structure, a kind of roadmap to hold it all together and guide our listener from the beginning to the end. So let's talk about how to build that. Think of your storytelling flow as the blueprint for your story. It's what keeps you from rambling and makes your story feel intentional, like you're leading your audience to the exact point you want to make. It's what turns a bunch of interesting details into a coherent, satisfying journey.
And listen, it doesn't have to be complicated at all. Check out this super simple 3-step structure. Step 1. Set the scene using those sensory details. Step 2. Describe the turning point with that emotional shift. And Step 3. Share the realization, the big takeaway. And that turning point? It doesn't have to be some huge dramatic event. It can just be a quiet thought, a sudden feeling, the moment the story's real meaning finally clicked into place for you. This is such a natural, effective path for any personal story.
Okay, we've got our scene, our feelings, and our structure. We're almost there. The very last step is to elevate our language with a few precise, powerful words that are going to make our story shine. This is the final polish.
So, instead of just saying a wave of peace, what if we used a more specific, more evocative word like serenity? It captures not just peace, but this sense of a deep, untroubled calm. It's a small change, but it has a really big impact.
And what about the view? Instead of saying it was really nice, we could say it was breathtaking. That word does all the heavy lifting for you, right? It conveys a sense of awe so perfectly that your listener instantly gets the scale of that moment.
And finally, for that big realization, instead of just, I realized something, using a phrase like, I felt an internal shift. Wow, that is so much more profound. It describes a deep, fundamental change in how you see the world or even yourself. It's the perfect phrase for the core of your journey.
And here it is, the big after. Just listen to how this all comes together. We've got the sensory details, the emotion, that powerful vocabulary, and a really clear flow from the setting all the way to the realization. we have officially transformed a simple, flat sentence into a powerful miniature story.
So here you have it, your new storytelling toolkit. Paint the scene, share your heart, build a path, and choose your words. You can apply this framework to pretty much any personal journey you want to share.
So let's circle all the way back to that question from the beginning. Think about that journey you had in your mind. How would you tell that story now, using this toolkit? Remember, the most powerful stories aren't always about the biggest, craziest adventures. They're about the ones that are told with the most heart and the most clarity. And now, you've got the tools to share yours.